Welcome to the Swift Half, your weekly session of chat from the UK OCR and adventure running scene. Each week, pub landlord Alan and our favourite regular Ian discuss races, runners and anything else that comes to mind. So pull up a pew, pour yourself a drink and join us for the Swift Half.
Ian, my friend, welcome to the Swift Half again. How are you?
Actually, Alan, not so good. I'm coming in hot tonight.
You're coming in hot. Is that because it's been hot all week and the sun's been shining, or is it another reason that you're coming in hot tonight?
Well, the reason I'm coming in hot this morning, because we do record these on Friday mornings as our listeners, but I've just woke up, so I forgot what time of day it was, is last night coming home from work, hellacious traffic. You know, my journey should take 35 minutes and it took an hour 45. You put up with it during the winter months when it's dark. We know that apparently half of the UK can't drive in the dark. I can't explain why, but they just can't. But an hour 45, but Alan, that's not exactly why I'm coming in hot.
Okay, so why are you coming hot?
Because Google Maps is the worst thing ever. Now everyone has it in the car.
So it takes everyone the shortcuts. So they put it in and it takes everyone by the shortcuts, you mean?
So yeah, as I was driving last night, I knew it was going to be a hellacious drive. You get in your car, it says it's going to be 105 going pretty much your usual route. And then it said, oh, there's a shortcut this way. So I did. But as I was going that way, and it was taking you down this trading estate, just off the East Lancs, not doxing myself too much, but just off the East Lancs, there's a trading estate near Swinton, still miles away from my home. And it took me that way, but it's quite hard to get there. You have to go over a buzz lane and there. I saw 5 cars do the same thing before I did it, and then 3 cars followed me. So it's clear that they were all following Google Maps, and because of that, it wasn't a shortcut. It didn't save me the 5 minutes it promised. It took me an extra 25 or whatever the maths is. I can't work it out.
I get that because I use Waze, and Waze is exactly the same. If there's a traffic jam up ahead, it says go a certain way, and all of a sudden you see everyone doing it. So yeah, I'm with you on that, Ian. It says it's a shortcut, but it's not always a shortcut.
So, listener, is there a little known, not Waze, not Google Maps, that you know what? I'd pay for this. I'd honestly pay for something that no one else can use, which would just direct me the shortest route.
Do you put your do you put your Google Maps on as soon as you get in car? Does it come up and say this is the way home?
Yeah, I do. It's almost like the issue I have is because of work where I work, I will instantly hit traffic if there's traffic on my route, but there's multiple ways home. So it will tell me the best way home. So as soon as I get in the car, I'll throw that on. It'll only take me 2 or 3 routes generally. So I know where I'm going. I'm on autopilot, but you just have it on. Although it doesn't half get you stressed as you see it ticking up and up and up, knowing there must be further traffic up ahead. So maybe I should just, I don't know, do a naked drive home. In the same way that you can do a Garmin, a Garmin free run. Maybe I should just do a Google Maps free drive and just see where it takes me.
Flip the coin and take the gamble.
Yeah, just go for it and just hope for the best. But it, I think, Alan, the thing that really annoyed me more than anything was the fact that certain days of the week I can leave home early.
Yeah.
And this meant I got home later than when I leave at 5 o'clock. I think that's what got me so hot that I remember it today.
Yeah. I get it in. I'm now working as city centre, as you know, 3 days a week, and I hate coming out of it. I mean, I don't drive. use the train, and I ate every second of it. You know, the fact that I've got to leave at a set time, and if I don't leave rigidly for that time, I'm going to be home for an extra 30 minutes. I'm going to miss that train or whatever. And I haven't had that since I was a child, and I used to catch buses to work. So yeah, I don't like
Yeah,
it.
I wouldn't mind it if I happened to live in the local city, which could be one of a number. Yeah, I know people know where I live, but let's pretend that I could catch a Metrolink there, and like the buses are every 12 minutes. So providing nothing happens on that, it would be okay. And that. But yeah, I remember the days where it was 3 trains an hour, but 3 trains an hour, one at 1 minute past, one at 12 minutes past, and one at 22 minutes past, and then nothing.
And then nothing. Yeah, mine are like that as well.
But it's
I
not
love
bad if you
all.
miss the 1 minute past.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. What are you drinking tonight
Tonight, Alan,
to cool
going
down?
nostalgic, going nostalgic. What I'm drinking, dandelion and burdock. Would you believe I don't think I've ever
Oh,
had it on the show? And I saw it in the local shop in can form. I've not seen it in can form for years. So I thought, why not?
dandelion and burdock. Oh, I used to love that. There used to be all the time when the pop man used to come round, and there'd be kids listening to this don't even know what a pop man is, but we used to in the olden days, kids, we used to get a lorry come round with crates on the back, and in them crates were pop, and you pay your money for your pop, and if you took your bottles back, you got like money off your next bottle of pop. It was absolutely brilliant. But then it was always you got cherry aid, and there were no Fanta. It was orange aid instead of Fanta. There were no Lilt because it was pineapple aid. You had one type of cola. There was no Diet Coke, Pepsi, Coca-Cola. It was just straight up Coke. And then you got my favorite, which was, oh, you know, cream soda as well. Cream soda was there. But my favorite was always dandelion and burdock. It was the thing that just tastes different.
It does taste different because people often ask about root beer in America. You don't really get that over here. But dandelion and burdock is almost like the British equivalent of a taste you can't quite explain to anyone. They just have to have it.
It tastes like dandelions and burdock.
Exactly. And now that I think about it, who decided to put them in a drink? Who knows? Who knows? But if you are playing Swift Half Bingo, by the way, tick off Popman because I think that's probably about the 15th time we mentioned it on the show. So tick that off your bingo card. If he's not on your bingo card, I'm sure some other Swift Half mythology will be up very shortly. So Alan, what are you drinking?
I'm going old school, Ian. I am going Brewdog Hazy Jane, but with a hint of guava. So this is the last of my Christmas cans. So my friends have been coming round and they've been stealing my Christmas cans. This is the last one. I decided I was going to have the last one. So yeah, tropical state of mind, Hazy Jane guava. Love a bit of Hazy Jane. It is alcohol, people. I know it's early in the morning, but it is alcohol, so I do apologise if I don't go into work today. Ah,
I'm
lovely.
sure everything will be fine. Don't worry, listeners. We found this unique ability after drinking alcohol in the morning, just completely sober up. It's almost like we're drinking on a Wednesday night. It's almost just like that, and you don't feel it by Friday. But you know, who knows what the secret is? Maybe we'll bottle it.
We'll bottle it.
Speaking of, well, not so secrets, have you seen the outrage at Nike this past week?
Oh, this is absolutely class. I love this. I actually, when you put it on the chat, I was thinking, this is absolutely amazing. So, listeners, if you don't know, oh, I'm going to tell you what, Ian, I'm actually going to put it on our YouTube so our people on YouTube can actually see this. So, this is Nike that I've put up billboards that are shaming park runners, Ian. This is absolutely class. Do you think it's shaming park runners?
Well, it's park run walkers, and we should give shout out. I think I picked the Independent for this particular news, but it's been all over the news. So apologies. I hope we don't get in trouble from YouTube for giving free advertising to NatWest down the other side. But Alan's killed it anyway, somehow. Uh, but
I
yeah,
took stole it. I took it
this
off
is
him.
you've took it off. But go just Google if you haven't already, Nike Heart Run, and they've engaged in what's called a guerrilla marketing campaign where they'll say things like, "You didn't come all this way for a walk in a park," and it's tongue in cheek, but people who go to park run who are those who want to walk a park run, either because they can't run it or they just want to walk it because why not, are feeling targeted. And I kind of agree with them, but also on the other hand, part of me is like, it's an obvious joke. It's so hard, but it's so easy for me to say that when I'm not the target, I guess.
Yeah, it is. Um, but I think it's funny. I think it's funny. I've got to admit, I do think that this is funny. The billboard just says you didn't come all this way for a walk in the park. I think that is tongue in cheek. I think it's funny, but it seems that Parkrun are not happy about it.
No, because they happen to do this during a park run, which isn't the best, or maybe it's deliberate because we knew people congregate. But this is part of an overall strategy of night to encourage people to run. Not necessarily because we don't think people should walk, but this idea that people should just go out there and run. So if you're on the couch now, go out and run. We had it in the Boston Marathon, and they do say, Alan, there's no such thing as bad publicity. How many column inches has taking a sly dig at people who go to a running event to walk? How many column inches has this game Nike? Probably far more than it would have cost them to run adverts in the newspapers.
Without a doubt. It's created the chart. It's creating interest, and that's all you can do as an advertiser. And we have this on our social medias. We'll put posts up that we think are absolutely great, and they'll get quite a few views, but they'll not go viral. And then we'll put something up that we don't even necessarily think is brilliant, and it goes viral. People decide what goes viral. People decide what they want to talk about. In this instance, it's Nike's tongue in cheek. You didn't come to the park for a walk. Um, yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And they did something similar in Boston. I'm not quite sure what the billboard said that. And it was people on rickshaws as well doing this, which again, fair play tonight. Some people will be offended. I can see some people's point, if you literally can't run, but it probably wasn't aimed at you. Let's keep the running theme going because a big news article which was shared by people in the pub, and I think I was tagged in this at least 5 or 6 times, was the Chinese half marathon, where the half marathon world record was broken, I believe, Alan. Although there was a problem when the competitor breaking it couldn't give a urine sample after it.
Yes, this is. I know. When you were telling me then that the half world record was broken, I'm thinking, what is he talking about? I have no idea what he is talking about. But listener, I clicked on because I have read this story, and this story is about a robot. Yes, a robot has broke the world record. They broke Jacob Kiblimo's world record. For a half marathon, 13.1 miles. And this is the story. It's absolutely amazing. It won the Beijing. Did you actually see the video of it, Ian?
I did, and scarily, some of them had better running form than I do.
Without a doubt, better running form. I mean, the winner, 50 minutes, 26 seconds, was absolutely phenomenal. But it shot off the line. It was like so quick. It was. I was shocked how fast it was actually running. Um, I think it's amazing technology like this. I mean, I don't know where they're going to use it and things like that. I guess it's going to probably used in some spaceship or whatever going around the moon in years to come when we eventually do it. You know, and we don't have to just AI it to make it look like we've done it. But yeah, in years to come, it'll probably be something like that. But well, it's amazing. It's amazing what they're actually doing over in China.
I've got a couple of queries. Well, a couple of thoughts on this, Alan.
Go on
Thought
then.
one, do you remember last week when we were talking about the Paris Marathon, whereby they were revolutionizing the distribution of water at the Paris Marathon? Do you remember that?
We do, yes. There was like spraying it rather than in cups and that. Yeah, bring your own cup and that.
Would this solve their issue? Because obviously the biggest polluters are, of course, the human beings. So if you just make the Paris Marathon a complete human-free zone and just have robots running it, would that solve their apparent dedication to achieving environmental goals?
um, I guess it would, but how much carbon footprint does it make to create one of these robots? Because that's the key, isn't it? Um, can you just make it without a carbon footprint? I don't think you can, Ian.
No, you're probably right, and that's always the biggest bugbear when it comes to environmental things. That stuff like changing, putting plastics and that in different bins, and then it's a filthy great big lorry that's coming collecting it. Yeah, I know you'd argue that lorry would come anyway, but yeah, it is what it is. It's always this question of what's the hidden cost of a lot of these environmental things. But moving away from environmental before we get cancelled by Peter or anyone like that, the second query I've got is if these are powered by AI, how quick before one of them cuts the course like a human to try and get the fastest time?
And only does 18 miles. Tick that one off your bingo card, people. And that's a great question. Um, yeah, they want to win. If you program a robot to try and win, at some point, it's either going to cut the course or it's going to push the other robots over into it. It's going to be a free for. It's going to be like Ian, robot wars over a half marathon. This is a new game changer. We need to develop this and copyright it right now, right here, right now. We are copywriting. You heard it here first, people. The Robot Wars half marathon, 10K, 5K, and we'll even have a sprint of 100 meters.
You know what? That would actually be really cool if you took the gloves off and yeah, just program the robots to find the fastest way to finish this race against all the other robots and just see what they do. It'd be a fascinating tool. And I guess human instinct, although not quite human, but you know what I mean? Because you always wonder what would happen, for example, in like a zombie apocalypse. With robots like this, we could kind of figure out would they run or would they trip up other robots to ensure that they got eaten by zombies?
That's a whole different game, that zombie eating robots. That's a film that's like, was it Godzilla and King Kong? That's one of them type of film. Zombies v AI robots.
But staying with well, that was a half marathon. It would be really cool if anyone at Chinese half marathon um, jumped out at mile 18 because they would have got lost, but that would have been funny. I hope they got a decent medal. If, as you're listening to this, the London Marathon Ballot has either just opened or is about to open. It runs for a week leading up to next Friday, I want to say. So it'll go over a weekend because this weekend is London Marathon. And yeah, I guess enter because as we talked about on a previous episode, in theory, it's going to be a two-dayer. Although they've not officially confirmed that or denied that or anything like that. But there are rumours that this would be potentially an easier marathon to get in the ballot.
Better chance of getting in without a doubt, Ian, if there's going to be 2 days. So yeah, get yourself in, people. Get yourself in, people.
But we don't know whether it is 2 days, but Alan has always said that he's never gonna sign up for a marathon. So don't worry. I put Paula's name in the ballot.
Oh, can't put her in. I did threaten last year to put her in, but I didn't. I don't think that will go down too well, Ian. No, Paula's not the runner. Paula likes to walk with Betty, but not run. But talking about people who do like to run, there was another world record broken this last week, Ian, which was the 100-mile treadmill world record. And it was broken by Ashley Paulson, who ran 100 miles on a treadmill. And get this, Ian, he ran it in 14 hours, 15 minutes. Yeah. And that's a 740-mile pace. How mental is that?
Just to confirm, this is Ashley who broke her own previous world record.
Yes.
Fabulous, fabulous runner. And yeah, she beat by nearly an hour and a half. I would just get too fatigued. And what makes it, and you can see this on YouTube if you're watching, what makes this all the more incredible, they don't have a mattress behind her just in case she falls off.
I mean, that's absolutely crazy. I mean, first of all, you set the pace on a treadmill. You set how fast you're going to go. To actually set it and just keep going for that. I mean, I hate running on a treadmill. It is one of my pet hates. I either go too fast and I go right to the front of the treadmill, or I go too slow and I'm almost falling off the back. For that amount of time, she has constantly ran at a pace where she hasn't fallen off the back or gone too fast. I'm constantly going like this. I'm constantly going slower, faster, slower, faster, slower, faster, just so I can try and keep in the middle. I can never get it. I can never get it right. So hats off to her for actually just maintaining the fact that she stayed on the treadmill for that amount of time.
Yeah, it's remarkable. And like you, Alan, anything over a 30-minute set on the treadmill, not for me. I know there's people out there who will happily do their long runs on the treadmill, and I've had to do it in the past when marathon training because of ice on the roads. And as you don't know, Alan, but when it comes to training for ultras, that you kind of have to follow your plan as much as you can. Yeah, if you can maybe have a long run, you can move on to the next day. But if it's snowy and icy outside, you got to do it. And because most marathons are either in the spring or some of them are in the autumn, the chances of having some icy runs they're going to happen. But I always dreaded when I couldn't go for a long run because marathon running not exactly for me. Not marathon running. Well, marathon running's not for me anymore, but treadmill running not exactly for me.
Too right, too right. Mentioning marathons there, Boston Marathon last week. New course record by John Career. Ran it in 2 hours, 1 minute, 52 seconds. 5th fastest marathon run as well, Ian, in history. The 5th fastest marathon run in history. What do you think to that?
I'm super impressed because, as I understand it, Boston isn't known as a quick course. I know it's quite hard because averages get dragged down by the fact that a lot of people qualify for Boston, and qualifying is what people want to do. So that's what they want to do. And then when we get to Boston, it becomes like a celebration. So that drags the average time down. But even if you exclude them, when it comes to some of the elites, it's slower than, say, a Berlin. Berlin is known as being a fast marathon. So incredibly impressed by John, and can't wait to see what he does against some of these other marathon runners. It's going to be great.
It certainly is. Also, a good news story coming out of Boston Marathon, which is regarding a runner that got to the finish line and he had to pick up AJ Herdassi. So AJ Herdassi was running, got to the finish line, collapsed before the finish line, And Aaron Beggs stopped, and Robson de Oliveira stopped as well, put their arms around him and helped him across the finish line. Ian, what an amazing thing! You know, I love stories like this. This is one of the greatest stories ever.
Yeah, we see this a few times. It's one of them stories. I won't say if story gets recycled, but the occurrence happens a lot. We saw it in London Marathon, I want to say 5, 6 years ago. But it always makes me think, what would I do if I saw someone struggling in a marathon? Yeah, particularly, and I don't know the story of the heroes in this, particularly Alan, if you have spent an extraordinary amount of time getting yourself race ready, and you know that you're pretty much sacrificing your race by helping this runner, and you also know, and this is possibly showing some of my true colours, that there are medics nearby who will help him. So I always, it's a bit of a gut check to me, and I want to think I'd help, but I kind of think I wouldn't. Alan, what about you?
I love that. Don't ever race a marathon when he is running because he's not going to help you. No, I have actually stopped and helped. So there was I don't know if you ever remember the suffering races. There was the suffering races, and it was a 2 day event. You ran day one. You ran. I want to say they marked it as a 5K, but it ended up being more like a 5 mile. Then in the afternoon you ran a 10K, which ended up being more like a 10 mile. And then on the Sunday you ran the 10 mile, which was more like a 15 mile. And they were known for this, and it was really, really good. And they had obstacles, but they also had what they call, I want to call them reapers, as in like the reaper events, but I'm not sure if they were called reapers or something else. But they just randomly just gave you challenges like 50 sit-ups, 20 press-ups, do me some star jumps, do me burpees, do whatever they want you to do. Run over through that puddle of water over there, lay down, come back. And it was really random, it was really tough, really hard. And I ran the Saturday. I ran my 5K, my 10K, and I want to say I was in okay position. I think I was top 20 overall at that point. And then when I went out on the Sunday, I was running really, really well. I was 3/4 of the way through the course, and one of the guys in front of me who I knew quite well at that time, he doesn't run anymore, which was Sam. He pulled up an injury. He'd got an injury, and it was a case he couldn't really walk. So literally for the last 5K, I had one of his arms on my shoulder, and we finished it. And there's a picture out there in black and white, and they used it for quite a while of us actually crossing the line together, which was quite good. But yeah, I ruined my race. I wasn't going to finish podium or anything like that, so I was happy to stop and help a fellow racer at the time, who was quite a good racer, cross that finish line and get to the end and get the 3 medals, but the original trifecta.
And to be fair, I would hope that I would stop in those circumstances. I would hope. And when I'm doing high rocks, if someone's pulled up, I will always ask, "Are you okay, mate?" Something like that. Um, but I do think it would probably be based on conditions. If I'm about to get a PR, feeling great, they're the next person's problem.
I get that. I get that. Um, there is a little bit like that. A little bit of thought process like that, in everyone's races. But yeah, I stopped. I would imagine a lot of our community would stop. I mean, back in the day, this is when the community was much bigger than what it was now. You rocked up to a fun event on a Saturday that was a charity event for 30 quid, and you ended up having 1,000 runners rock there. It was you printed money back then. Not anymore. It's much harder now, but back then you printed money. So yeah, people rocked up from everywhere.
You did. Speaking of charity events, let's give a shout out to Matt Rigby and that, because at the Macclesfield Deadly Dozen, there is going to be, and this is the Deadly Dozen on the 9th of May, there's going to be a charity Deadly Mile. So Jay is going to let the Institute community do it for free in order to raise money for a local Macclesfield charity. Just drop in. That's the stone throws from the Institute. I have no clue because he just sent this to us. I've no clue if by Institute's community means the wider community, not just those who go to the Institute. So, quite frankly, I'm making a judgment call here, Alan, that if anyone goes and does the Deadly Mile, take Rigby up on this of doing a Deadly Mile for free, providing you are raising money for charity. And if there's any issues with that, speak to us. We'll have a word with Jay. We'll sort it out. You'll be able to race for free. We may end up doing some free work for him. So don't worry about it. All you'd have to do is raise some money. So this is on Macclesfield on the 9th of May.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is interesting because the reason I felt quite safe in making that offer, Alan, is I honestly don't think that many of our listeners will take on this challenge because I definitely won't. And Alan, I know you've got big races coming up, so you won't. But to remind you, the Deadly Mile is 400 meters worth of lunges. I can never get the order of the next two right, but it's then bear crawls 400 meters or burpees 400 meters, or you switch them and you do burpees then bear crawls. Can never remember which order it goes in, but yeah, you do those three exercises and for 1.2k, and then you follow it up with a 400-meter run to finish off your Deadly Mile. The usual time is, I want to say 45 minutes to an hour. Some people have done it an hour 20. It's definitely a test. And Alan, I don't think any of our listeners will be up for it.
We're challenging you now. Dare you go and do it? Dare you go and do it? Raise some money for charity.
Raise some money. And if you do, I've not discussed this with Alan. The podcast will chuck 20 quid into the bucket for each listener who does it. Should we cap it at 5? Should we say 100 quid total?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So if we've got 5 listeners, so if you do it and you send us a picture, so if you are a listener, this doesn't include you, Matt Rigby. Yeah. So if you are listening to this podcast, yeah, 5 people, you go and do it on 9th of May. You send us in a picture of you doing it. We will donate £20 to every one of you that do it. Oh, for the first 5, up to 5
The
people.
first 5 of you who sign up, we'll put 20 quid in your kitty. Please don't let that be the only 20 quid. Please do it to raise money. And yeah, this deal doesn't go to Matt Rigby because he's already doing it, nor to Amy, Martin, or Fat, who will be joining him. Apparently, Martin and Amy are going to be doing it ruck style. You guys don't need to do that. You guys and girls, no. Just do the regular one, finish it. I would suggest wearing gloves because bear crawls and burpees on a racetrack are not fun. But yeah, I'm sadly fairly confident, Alan, that our money's safe. But let's see.
Let's see. Let's see. Talking about charity, little Johnny Weir did his 5k, so a big shout out to him. Do you know how much he's raised, Ian? How much do you think he's raised as we record this?
I want to say, well, we've just offered £100, 101.
He's raised over £1,000, Ian. I mean, that's absolutely amazing. He's raised over £1,000. You know, we gave some and everything. So well done to little Johnny Weir. And I'm going to say little because he's smaller than me. That's why I'm calling him little. But he's big in stature.
He would be perfect for this, although I think sadly he's just a little bit too young to take on the Deadly Mile quite yet. However, he does have a dad.
Johnny, if you listen to this, you've got to get your dad down to Macclesfield. I know it's a bit of a trek down, but get him down there. We'll put £20 in. It can go into your kitty. You know what I mean? You let us know. Get him down there. There's 20 quid there.
There you go. Come on, Bill. We believe in you because we definitely don't believe in me and Alan.
We certainly do. Talking about money, So I've got a couple of stories regarding money. Do you want to hear mine?
Yeah, I'm curious about money. Am I getting a pay rise?
No, you are not. Not unless you go down to the British champs that's happening. And if you go down to British champs and you win it, Ian, there is £100 on the table for you. £100 for first man and first woman down at nuclear races at the British champs, held at nuclear races. £100 for the winner, and both men and women.
Oh wow. Who would I have to compete against?
The likes of Dan Titcombe, Morgan Maxwell, James Burton, Russell Walsh, all the top athletes, Ian. But I reckon if we've got enough time to build you a robot between now and then, yeah, that takes your place, you could be in with a chance.
That's a lot better than my option, which was, can we do this like golf where there's like a handicap system? They're all playing at handicap probably a 3 or a 4. I'm playing a handicap 250, which means I get a 6 hour head start. So I get there before either Mr. Parrish gets there to open it up. And yeah, and see if I finish before the rest of them finish. The only problem with that is I suspect it's still a band system, and I'd only be able to fail 3 obstacles, and there's a good chance I'll fail at least 6.
I'm glad you actually just said that there about handicaps and explained yourself. Because I'm thinking when it's handicapped there, I got visions of misery. I got visions of misery and you taking them all to one side into one of the tents and hobbling them. I got that was in my head there for all of a sudden. So I am so glad that you didn't go down that route, Ian.
No,
And top, go
but
on.
saying that, the Ian K robot that's going to race this on my behalf, if we program it to win the race, that's maybe what it does.
Yeah, that could be right actually. And then the week after, Ian, the Born Survivor are also offering prize money. So Born Survivor Elite Squadron, you can get first prize £100 in sportshoes.com voucher, second prize 75 and third prize 50. This is on their Facebook page. So it's timed, ranked and rewarded. It's great that Born Survivors seem to always get the sports shoes vouchers, and I think they were sponsored by Innovate at one stage as well. So it's great that they're offering prize money in that at Born Survivor.
No, I agree. And I will say, sports shoes, it's one of them places where generally it has a sale on. And if you're willing to wear last year's model, you can't half get some bargains. Well, Alan definitely can because he's got size 17 clown feet, and they make one pair of the shoes that Alan can wear, and they never sell. So Alan then picks it up as bargain basement price the year after.
Sounds lovely, Brian. I love that. Staying with racing, do you know what schemo is?
Is that what we do at High Rocks after the first run? We schemo.
Schemo, schemo. No, not quite. So schemo is actually short for ski mountaineering. Now, did you recently watch the was it the Winter Olympics games with the extreme games, and they had a bit of a course where they had people skiing up a hill and then they ski down and they go up some steps and things like that. That's the stadium version of it, but actually schemo is much more. It's actually about going up in the mountains and skiing, and you take your skis off and you're running your ski boots and you do all of this and everything else. Well, a famous OCR athlete had a go at this last week.
Oh, was it you?
It wasn't me. I'm not a famous OCR athlete. I wish. I'm infamous. No, this was John Albon. So John Albon did a schemo. And so not only is he a good mountaineer, he's actually a good schemo racer as well, because he managed to get a podium. He got third. But the biggest thing for me, the final kilometre, He did it in sub 3 kilometers, and he was carrying ski boots and his skis. So as you can see from the picture, so if you're on YouTube, you can see they actually climb mountains. They are skiing uphill as well as downhill, and like the typical cross country style. But yeah, his fourth kilometer 2:59 pace. I mean, that's absolutely astounding.
What's terrifying about this whole thing, there's two people on the planet who are faster at this than John Albon.
That's actually a very good point. But bearing in mind, they've probably been doing this all their life. I mean, John only went to Norway, what, 6, 7 years ago, just pre-COVID, I think. So, he's not been doing it. I guess he's been practicing. But I think it was absolutely amazing. He's turned his hand to another sport and is doing absolutely fantastic at it.
Alan, can I ask you a question?
Fire away.
You kind of know John, as in you've met him. I've never. I think I've met him for maybe 10 seconds as he ran past me at Europe's Toughest Modest. So you kind of do know him. Was he really that unpopular that no one's told him COVID's over and he can leave Norway to come home now?
That's oh yeah, that's a cracker. That's actually so good. I do think he knows that because he's raced in the UTMB, but yeah, I mean, it always wondered me, like, did he go over there? Was someone chasing him? Because he was an architect. If everyone knows him, he was an architect in London. Was someone, did he build a house that wasn't quite straight or something, and did he have to quickly escape? That's always been on my mind. Anyone who goes abroad like that, all of a sudden, it's always on my mind. Why did they go abroad? I mean, he's never been back for a Farmyard Jam. He's never been back to challenge me to Wolf Run. So, should he be coming back into this country? If he maybe can't hold his face up because he hasn't done the Wolf Run.
Yeah. Answers on postcard, listeners. Has John Albon not returned to UK because A, he's scared of facing Alan head to head at Wolf Run, B, because he owes people money due to dodgy architecture, or C, some nonsense about marrying a Norwegian and deciding to live happily ever after in paradise? It can't be C, can it?
Definitely not C. It can't be an amazing athlete and then be so lucky to do that as well. It's got to be some other reason.
Got to be some other reason. So let us know, listener. Alan, you mentioned Farmyard Jam there, and I don't know this. I saw it on the notes, but am I going to have to get my tissues out? Because, listener, on the notes, it says no Overload, no Farmyard Jam in 2027. I did check. We're not due an apocalypse at the end of this year, so that's not why. This wasn't the sort of way of telling us the apocalypse is coming. So, Alan, what on earth's going on?
Yeah, so I'm going to be really honest here and say, could this be end of Farmyard Jam and Overload? I don't think it is. Yeah, so I'm not going to turn around and say this is the last event ever this year. I don't think it's going to be the end. But currently, mine and Jamie's, I guess, calendars don't match in 2027. So in 2027, we have got a really big challenge on ourselves, and it's going to be taking us 10 days to do it, which our listeners are welcome to come and have a go with it if they want. It's out there. If anyone wants to come and join us, reach out. We'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go do the spine. So we're going to go from Kirkgetholm all the way down to Edale, 270 miles in the space of 9 days. So it's 30 miles a day for 9 days, self-supported. If anyone's interested in joining us, to come and join us. But that means that we don't have other holidays available to take 10 days out to go and put Farmyard Jam and Overload on. So 2027, we are 100% certain there will be no Farmyard Jam or Overload in 2027. Will it come back in 2028? At this moment in time, we're not going to commit, Ian. I'll be honest and say we're not going to commit. I want to say yes. I really want to say yes. But again, will the stars align? As you know, I've got a new job. Things take time. Me and Jamie love putting Farmyard Jam on. So I will say if we can, and now we can get our calendars together, then yeah, we will put one back on in 2028. But currently, and well, not currently, there will not be one in 2027 because we're going to go and try and do something else.
And listeners, for those of you who have already paid entry for 2027, I
That's
can't even get
nobody.
the gag out. Yeah, for those of you who've already paid for 2027, the money is going to a donkey sanctuary. Don't worry. Sorry, I can't even get that joke out. It was too obvious. So yeah, your 2027 entry fee is going to a lovely donkey sanctuary, and you probably also have a gravestone there. Who knows?
I actually wanted. Me and Jamie was talking about marketing this event this year, and we actually said, "Shall we market it as the last event?" And I was like, "No, because I'm not doing a Mr. Mouse. I'm not saying it's the last ever event and then putting one on 2 years later, because we are wanting to put it on again. We're not wanting to walk away. We love putting it on, but I'm not getting no younger. I'm not far off six. Oh God, I'm not far off 60 now. 3 more years and I'll be 60 years old. Which that's I could be the Lazarus Lake of farmyard jamming.
You absolutely could, Alan. And honestly, I can't wait to see you blowing on a cooch to Saturday. Is that what we call it? That little shell thing?
I thought it
Is
was a conch.
honk? There we go. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, I can absolutely and lighting a cigarette to start it off. Yeah, absolutely. Uh,
Yeah,
what was I thinking? Hoochie Coochie. I was thinking Hoochie Coochie, the old song that they used to have. I don't know why. It was just in my mind. But let's move away from that. It would have been so funny had you marketed it as the last ever with all proceeds to a donkey sanctuary. But that's probably
people
incredibly
wouldn't
meta.
get
We could,
it. Not
yeah.
everyone will get it though.
No, although Alan, does that mean you could buy like a toy donkey for whoever drops out first?
That would be pretty good. Oh, I can't tell you. I've been researching some new medals, which are going to definitely win medal of the year next year. So I'm hoping to get some new medals for this year's, which are going to be completely different and everything else. So I'm currently sourcing these. Hopefully, we can get them for the right price. They're going to be absolutely amazing. Think fidget toys equals DNF. And if I can get them out, you'll be absolutely amazed. So anyone comes to Farmyard Jam, they are going to be absolutely made up with these. These are going to be the best thing since sliced bread, Ian.
Absolutely. And I did just research Hoochie Coochie while you were mentioning that to make sure we're not going to get chucked off YouTube. It was a dance in the late 1900s. Honestly, no idea where that came from. But moving on. You mentioned the fidget spinners then, so the best medals ever.
Fidget spinners will be the best medals ever if we get them. Honestly, these are absolutely fantastic. And there's a guy close to me that makes them. So we're talking designs and we're talking prices at this moment in time. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I really want to get them. They will be absolutely amazing. Not that the jam's absolutely amazing anyway when people get the jam, but this could be the next best thing.
Can't wait to see him, Alan. And I won't be winning one, but maybe I can get one
Maybe you
by
could sneak
finding.
one.
Yeah, yeah. Right, let's do a little bit of fitness racing news. We covered Deadly Mile there, but Alan, we got a press release this week earlier this week about AI meets the race floor. Cambridge Spark, not to be confused with Cambridge Analytical, this is a completely different company. I checked. Are teaming up. Cambridge Spark are teaming up with Hyrox for a AI-powered athlete profiler at Cardiff and at Barcelona. So built on the data of 70,000 official Hyrox finish times, giving athletes an instant breakdown of their performance. So you race in Cardiff, you go to this stand by Cambridge Spa, and they will break down your performance. Sounds interesting. I'll I may as well read it because it's a press release. So, the UK's leading education company leverages data from 70,000 high rocks finish times to deliver instant athlete profiling. As you can see, I did a lot of research here. The partnership unites two organizations driven. No, that's boring stuff. So, the activation at High Rocks Cardiff and High Rocks Barcelona, Cambridge Spark will debut a two-part activation which bridges the gap between physical effort and the AI-driven insight. Just to confirm, no Chinese robots are going during a High Rocks in Cardiff. Although watching them burpee could be interesting. Athlete
I would love
profile, as I
that.
just mentioned, yeah, at the stand, athletes can access AI-driven tool powered by an analysis of 70,000 official high rocks times, benchmarking their own performance against this mass public data set. Athletes receive an instant athlete profile, a deep dive breakdown that identifies their competitive edge, and this is the more important thing, specific areas for improvement. So they're going to give you, as I understand, a 4-week training plan to help you improve the bits that you might need help on. Of course, me and Alan know it's wall balls, but other people might not know that.
They will.
The other thing is called the human in the loop. This activation tests cognitive law by challenging participants to solve a complex puzzle while under physical strain. It's a direct nod to curriculum in Cambridge Smart's Leading with AI executive program, which equips leaders to maintain precision and make high stakes decisions under the pressure of rapid technological change. I've no clue what most of that means, but it sounds fun.
The second one definitely sounds fun. The second one definitely sounds fun. I wonder, Ian, I wonder if has anyone ever done this? Looked at every high rocks and taken the best time for the first run, the best time for the ski egg, the best time for the second run, so forth, and put in the perfect time. Because that would be pretty cool.
Oh, so basically, having a look at each of the segments and seeing theoretically what could
Yeah,
be the perfect time. Well, I don't think anyone has. I reckon you could do it because we do that segment. Am I going to do it? No. But if someone wants to do it, don't forget the Rock Zone time
yeah.
and let us know because that'd be super cool.
You know, the best men and the best women, don't just do men or women, do both men and women, and see what it is. You know, because you're going to get some real like Tim Vinish's run, and you're going to get Hunter McIntyre's, and you're going to get Ronkovic's, whatever. You're going to get them all from different, but the perfect time. I wonder what it would be. Would obviously be a new world record, but I wonder what the difference between the world record and the perfect time would be.
I'm not sure, but speaking of world records, we discussed briefly Hyrox Warsaw last week. We didn't want to go into it too in depth, just in case people were watching it on catch up, because of course we did record this after the solos had happened, and we didn't want to spoil the news, but there were world records in both the pro solos. So Joanna Vetrick got a new world record of 54:25:08. We also had, as Alan showing you, 25 actually. We got the time wrong. Oh no, 54:25.08. The
Yeah,
dot naught 08 was split seconds. We also in the men's category, Alexander Ronkovic got the world record of 51:59, the first ever solo to ever dip below the 52 minute mark. Dylan Scott, this happens a lot. Dylan Scott also broke, I believe, the old world record and came second. It hurts when that happens. And then we also saw in the women's pro doubles a world record by Lauren Weeks and Vivian Tafuto, and their time was 52:11.84. So well done to all of them. There was a lot to go through when it came to this particular event. Probably too much to chat about on this show, but I'm going to have to ask you, Alan, about Gelgate. Okay, I'm not sure if you're too clear on it, but let me set the table.
Set the table
Go
for
back.
me.
Yeah. On the elite doubles,
Elite
obviously
doubles.
Vivian and Lauren won, but the team that was in second place in terms of actually running for most of it, which was, if you scroll all the way, so you just move away from that so we can see it. If you have a look, Saskia Millard and Holly Archer, who have sat in 11th place, they
Yeah.
were going to be, well, probably second place, but they got a couple of penalties. One on the ski, not on ski, one on the sled pull for being in both of them in the area. I'm not sure what the other one was for, if I'm honest. But the bigger news is, Alan, they got one at the rower because one of them had a gel, left it on the floor, and carried on with their race. And in high rocks, littering is a 2 minute penalty. And Alan, the internet reacted calmly.
Well, I don't know how calm they reacted to him, but I'm going to give you my take on this. They should have been DQ'd.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
wow.
This is my thoughts on this. If people are leaving rubbish anywhere on course, whether that be outdoors or indoors, it's a DQ. It takes seconds to put it back in your pocket. If you take it out there, I'm with Spartan on this. Yeah, Spartan do it. If you take it on the course, you bring it back off the course. And that's exactly what it should be. Otherwise, we're just going to get people dumping litter. It used to wind me up so much here when I used to see an OCR and I'd see people, these shorts came out with pockets in the back. They've all got everyone's got little pockets in the back of the shorts now. Great for putting mobile phones in, but people use it to put gels in. And they would take it out of the pocket and then they would rip it open, they'd squirt it down the throat and they'd throw it into a bush at side. DQ them. DQ everyone that litters. And in IROX, exactly the same IROX, clamp down on it right here, right now. No littering. DQ, not a 2 minute penalty. DQ unless you make them run back and pick it back up.
That's a good point, actually. We could have done that. Listener, I will be in agreement with them giving a 2 minute penalty because that's what's in the rules. High Rock's rules are like that. I can understand Alan's view. And ironically, people are arguing the other argument that littering is it wouldn't have took that much. It shouldn't have been. That was too harsh a penalty. And my view is the penalty was 2 minutes. It's been in the rule book this whole year. I felt horrible for these particular athletes because they were also the athletes who, if you remember, at London, they got penalised and dropped right back,
Yeah.
sadly. And they are wonderful people. And it was obviously a race brain moment of just not realising that they put it on the floor. Because you see it a lot. Athletes will take the gel, they'll put it in front of them, and they mean before they leave to pick it up. And they just completely forgot. I felt horrible. I'm supportive of High Rocks giving the penalty. But it could have been a lot worse if Alan was in charge of penalties at High Rocks. That's all I'm gonna say. So yeah,
The penalty was right, and I'm going to agree with it. The penalty was right. I don't agree with it, but I do have it on my head. I've and I'll put this into perspective, Ian. Not so much for High Rocks, but outside on a natural run. So, as you know, I was on a farm, and this has never happened to ours, and I hope it never ever does. But I was involved in Dash of the Titan, as people know, and we had part of our course was on a field that held cattle for a while, and the people who owned Dash of the Titan, they actually got a bill for a cow because it had died naturally. It had just died here for no reason whatsoever, and when they opened it up, it had eaten 4 gel packets. And the cow had died through eating 4 gel packets. Not the gel, but the stuff, the actual plastic had got into its stomach and sliced it open because they're sharp. So, and this is why I'm completely against it. if you're taking rubbish outside and up into the hills, anywhere, bring it back, guys. It takes 2 seconds. We don't live in the dark ages. You've got pockets. You've got pockets to carry it up there. You've got pockets to carry it back. Just pick up your rubbish, people.
Yeah, and you've got washing machines to wash the gunk out of them as well. So that's
Yeah,
a common thing. But
yeah.
yeah, that's definitely fair. Let's just say that we have a full breakdown of Warsaw on UKHXR Fitness Racing Podcast. So go and listen to that. In other news, Alan, this week, we'll probably just glance over it now. It might be something to get into more next week, but we'll see how we go. It's the rise of the youth when it comes to fitness racing in the UK. There are currently 5 races, five events which are putting on kids races that we're aware of. There might be more in the UK and Ireland. And we've got High Rocks Young Stars, so Birmingham, 31st of October and 1st of November, London, 5th December, 6th December. Triker, which is an Irish race. They run their clam race, which is 2 adults, 2 kids, all their junior race. They're having them in Dublin in July, 3rd to 5th of July. I've all checked for precise dates. And London, I think on the 5th of September. If not, it'll be the 6th of September, so check that. Deadly Dozen, friends of the show, have Deadly Youth on the 5th of July, so July is very popular. We've also got Nuclear Fit Rookies, which has been announced this week. I'll just get you the date on that. It's coming for their July race on the 18th of July. So these kids, if they really want to, depending on how fast you can get from Dublin to Macclesfield, you could do a clam race on the Friday, head over to Sunday to do a Deadly Dozen race, and then on the 18th go to Nuclear Fit to do their race. And then we also have just announced Deca Youth, although Deca Youth do lots of gym races. But Friday, the 11th of September, East Midlands, powered by Excelsior, which gets fitness into schools. So well done to Excelsior. They are doing a Deca Mile exclusively for young athletes aged 14 to 18, with schools invited to bring teams and take part. I believe there's still 14-year-olds who can take part of the weekend, but this is a special time being put aside for those. So yeah, Alan, it's the end of me and you. The young kids are coming.
The young kids are coming in. There's actually the young kids are more than coming in. The young kids are taking over. As we spoke the week, we've got so many young athletes in OCR that are coming through. I guess it's a time now for OCR where, and maybe High Rocks. High Rocks is still quite young, but within OCR we have got children that have grown up in it. And I guess in fitness racing, you have got kids that have grown up with parents going to the gym, or having a gym in the garage. So moving from there into a fitness races, I guess, a much faster step than it is for children in OCR. I think it's going to be great, and I think it's a great thing. Get all the kids involved, bring that grassroots thing, because if they don't stay in High Rocks and fitness racing, they'll move into another sport. And at the end of the day, it's about getting kids active. You know me, I'm all about getting the kids active, getting them running, getting them doing amazing things, rather than sat there watching Gogglebox or iPads or phones or whatever they've got to do. Which reminds me, kids' phones should be banned. I'm a person who bans smartphones for kids under 16. And Ian's once again on mute, and so if you like watching that on YouTube, you missed that.
Well, I couldn't get a word in edgeways, listener. As Alan went on his anti-former, I personally say ban anyone from having a smartphone. Anyone, you're under the age of 80. At 80, you can have a smartphone. He says, checking the notes on his smartphone. You mentioned there about Gogglebox and watching things on TV. Over the Easter holiday period, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was on, and I actually forgot that one of my favorite obstacles in Tough Mudder Legend is named after Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And that is, of course, Alan, and I'm going to throw it over to you.
Well, I know which one you're talking about, but I want to make some typical joke and say Firefly. I never saw Firefly in anything, but you're talking about Augustus Gloop. I'm pretty certain about that.
I am, and Augustus Gloop has been retired for a while, but he's coming back.
It certainly is. It is coming back. Um, shall we? I don't think it's any secret why Augustus Gloop was retired. There was an incident. Was it Europe's toughest mudder? I've got a feeling it was at Europe's toughest mudder where the incident was. It was on the top of the hill at Beaver Castle, and the way Augustus Gloop was built, they had a really big, I want to call it a mesh surround with words Augustus Gloop on it and all of that. And it was a windy night, and the wind decided that it wanted to lift Augustus Gloop out of the water and plonk it back down. And if you listen to one of the past, we have talked about it in the past. So it retired for a while. I think it's been retired for about 4 years now, if my memory serves me right.
Couldn't tell you. I'm sure someone will tell us. Again, I couldn't tell you whether it was Europe's toughest mudder or a regular. It was definitely at Yorkshire. It was definitely a case that it turned into a giant windsock and basically came undone. But yeah, it's coming back. I can't wait for it. I do like it as an obstacle because the thing that attracted me to Tough Mudder was the mental aspect of it. Because with the exception of some of the obstacles like Funky Monkey, like Cliffhanger, I know they have kind of, due to Spartan, kind of taken a bit of a diversion to more hanging type obstacles. But when it came to Tough Mudder, so much about it was the psychology, running through electric, diving into ice. Back in the day, falling through a flaming ring, that was
Yes.
something, or going down a slide with a fire at the bottom. And it was all about, psyching you out, which you don't get in a lot of other OCRs. And Augustus Gloop, yeah, it's not as scary as some of the other obstacles, but it has that mental aspect of when it's cold, forcing yourself to keep moving up when cold water is being deposited on your head can be the ultimate brain freeze.
Without a doubt. I think the UK Augustus Gloop is more mentally frightening than the American one. So if anyone doesn't know the difference, over in America, the tube that you go up, so there's anyone set an example, if no one ever knows what Augustus Gloop is, you are going to go from ground to about 4 meters up in the air, and you are going to climb up in the UK, you climb up a ladder that's in a tube, and there is water pounding down on you. So the ladder's in a tube, you grab hold of it, you're climbing up, it's quite tight, that tube, the water's pouring down on you, or most of the time it's pouring down on you. Sometimes it gets to a bit of a trickle, depending on how much frog spawn gets in there, because it does come out of a pond. But in America, you actually don't climb up a tube, you climb up a cargo tube, a cargo net tube, they call it, which you can like make it swing so you can avoid the water. Where in the UK one, you can't avoid the water. The water's coming down on you. And if they get it right, to me, it's one of not the toughest physically. In fact, it is tougher for me physically because I'm quite a big guy. So I can't actually lift my leg up to reach the next rung of the ladder because there isn't enough room for me. So I actually have to do a little bit of a pull up to actually get my leg up to the next ladder. So it is a bit tough for me and the taller people. A smaller person, it's much easier, but you've got the water constantly pounding on you. It's cold, it's freezing, and it's scary. It's like being waterboarded. Not that I've ever been waterboarded, but it's the same type of feeling. So I love the whole mental aspect of the UK Augustus Gloop as opposed to the American ones. The Americans need to come over here and do a proper one.
Yeah, and hopefully we get the old school UK one. I think a couple of events we perhaps had that American style where the tube had been cut in half and there was a cargo net behind it. Hopefully we get the old school tube because it is just that much better. Speaking of TM, I know we're probably heading towards a lock-in now, listener, based on time of all. I've not been paying attention. I'm just looking at a real clock. But as Alan's bringing it up, if you are someone who is, well, good with social media, then Tough Mudder has the job for you if you don't want to race every single race, I guess. They are recruiting for freelancers to do social media. It's not a full-time career with Tough Mudder, but if you're a freelancer who happens to do this kind of thing anyway, you can absolutely do this. What I liked about it was when they mentioned like the equipment you needed, they understand that a lot of people can get by doing social media content with just a phone and some microphones. I think that's kind of like the minimum they want. Alan, you must be tempted.
I am, Ian. I've got to admit, it is one of them tempting things to go and do. I think I would love to go and do it. I'm going to say I would love to go and do it. However, I just can't commit to this type of stuff now. I really, really want to. If this was like 5, 6 years ago, pre-COVID, I would have jumped at this. I think we both would have. And we actually reached out to them back then, and said, look, do you want content to be created? We'll help you out. We'll do whatever you want. And we got turned down back then, and there's no secret to it. They went with other people and other ideas. I think they're now seeing that they can't just stick to their own people. But that was great last year, though. I've got to admit, the content people last year who did it was absolutely brilliant. I think this is a great idea for anyone who is looking at media, who is doing it at university, that's looking for that extra little bit to give them an amazing portfolio. I think you would be silly not to do this. This post is on LinkedIn. It's on the Tough Mudder LinkedIn thing. And I love it. I think it's a great thing. Like you said, Ian, they are talking about what they're looking for. Someone's available to attend the majority of Tough Mudder and Spartan events, passion for digital content, especially on social media platforms, ability to create engaging photos and videos, skilled in filming and editing. So they're wanting all the things that people are going to learn while at university. So for me, I'm going to turn around and say, if you are at university and you've already started doing this, reach out to Tough Mudder. If this is your gig, guys, why not reach out to them? It's donald.young@spartan.com. Send your CV to him and see what happens. I love it. I'll say you're going to be on site between 8 and 4, though, Ian. So not only an 8-hour shift. That's brilliant.
No, it is, and there's probably further details. Not all content creation is the same, so obviously check what they require. A lot of the stuff that me and Alan put out there is done with a smartphone and a microphone. I dare say that Tough Mudder will probably have their photographers, their usual people there to get the what I'll call the high quality stuff. The really cool reels that you see, and the impression I get from this advert is it's looking at more of a grassroots type thing because they've noticed that yes, the glossy videos are incredible, but a lot of times it's the grassroots things that kind of really go viral. So yeah, from what I understand, based on the very small amount, it's effectively doing stuff for them as opposed to being paid to do stuff on your own page. But reach out to them. Not a flex. Me and Alan did talk about it most of the dates because we were thinking we could double team it. Yeah, most of the dates sadly clash with various Deadly Dozen, and we are already doing this for Deadly Dozen on some of them dates. So it is where it is, and for other races out there. But yeah, there's a few people who I think would do really well at this, and if you're already a freelancer, or as Alan says, if you're a university student or a college student who's specializing in this, and you can get to these events, go for it. Alan, is there anything else on the notes that you want to quickly go through?
There isn't. Oh, there's one back thing. The backyard. Did you watch the Sydney Backyard Ultra?
I missed it, so please bring me up to date.
So I was watching it. I've been watching it on social media, which was absolutely fantastic. At lap 60, Ian, there were 7 people left in it after 60 yards, which was absolutely fantastic, I thought. And then everyone just dropped. It was literally around about the 70-yard mark. Everyone just dropped, and they went down to 2 people. They went down 2 people. And if you're on YouTube, I'm sharing a picture of the winner at this post-race interview. He runs a podcast called Better by Next Week. His name is Tim Kaprizak, and he managed 75 yards. That's over 500 kilometers, Ian. 500 kilometers.
Yeah, only in my car and only over a space of the week. Yeah, I absolutely on that. But yeah, well done to him. The backyard ultra scene seems to be taking off again. I'm seeing maybe it's just the algorithm feeding me it, and it's never truly gone away, but it's definitely seems to be taking off again. So if you're taking on a backyard ultra, let us know because we gave a shout out to Briony last week, didn't we? Because she was the last woman standing in hers.
She was.
So, Alan, we've gone way over time, probably way over budget because that's what we do. But if there's nothing else to say, I'm going to say it's goodbye from me.
And listeners, thank you for listening. Don't forget to leave us a review if you can. We haven't had one on our podcast for a while, or you can comment on our YouTube video if you watch these on YouTube. But in the meantime, people, you stay safe, you keep on running, and we'll speak.